Hey guys! Long time no seen. Today I wanted to do a quick recap, late but better late than never, of the best and worst books I read in 2022. Well, I procrastinated, and I guess I procrastinated long enough that I can refer to this as a break. So that's what we're going with. I took a break. So just a quick recap before we get into which was the best and worst. I'm gonna go through quickly which books I read last year. So in January, I read 4 books. I read Jedi Summer with the Magnetic Kid by John Bowden. I read Dementia by Russell Coy. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. Buddy read with Mister Morningstar. I'll link the video. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And Naomi's Room by Jonathan Akelet. February, I read Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden and The Hole by Hye Young Pyuk. In March, I read Elizabeth by Jessica Hamilton, so obviously it was simultaneously the best and worst book I read that month. Same for April, I only read La Chambre des Merveilles by Julien Sandrel, or The Room of Wonders, I think it's called, Room of Wonders. And then in May, I read Purge by Sophie Oxenen. May was great, and it's my birthday month, so all went well. And then June, same thing. I read 1 book in June. It was Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I don't know what's up with all these months where I read only 1 book, but what can you do? And then in July, I really upped my game. I read 5 books in July. I did Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Totally recommend that book. 101 Ways to Go Zero Waste by Catherine Kellogg. It was awesome. The Selected Poems of Lee Poe. Officially, I've said I read in July, but honestly, it's one of those poetry collections that you kind of have the book on your nightstand and you just flip through it every now and then. And then The Silence of the Lamb by Thomas Harris. Oh my god. I had seen the movie so long ago, and it's one of my favorite horror movies. Hannibal Lecter, I love you, man. And I'm so excited that I finally got to read the book. It's funny. Well, okay, I'm not going to talk about that. No, don't go off topic. Anyway, so in August, we have A Life Less Throwaway, The Lost Art of Buying for Life, by Tara Button. Awesome book. Ways to Ruin a Royal Reputation by Danny Cullen. Oh, I forgot. August was Garb August month. So the first one I read, actually I finished it like on day 1 or 2 of August, so that wasn't part of the project. But all 3 others are part of the Garb August. Venus and Furs by Leopold von Sacher-Masoch, and Philosophy of the Boudoir by Marquis de Sade. They were fun reads. And then September, this book I was planning on reading for Garb August, but I finished it in September. And that was The Songs of Maldor by Comte de Lautréamont. And man, this is the weirdest book you could ever read, like ever. In the genre of horror and like horror meets philosophy, this book can only be qualified as far out. Man. October, we had Aura by Carlos Fuentes, which still is a short story. And Ton Glaciaire by Fred Vargas, or Glacial Nights. I think it is Glacial Nights in English, I'm not sure. And then November, I only read 1 book, Lurking in the Dark, an anthology by Regina St. Clair. It's an anthology of horror, like short horror stories written by fellow booktubers. And it was a lot of fun getting to read that. In December, we have New Animal by Ella Baxter, which honestly, I don't know my favorite. The book was kind of, so yeah, too bad. It was a recommendation by Mister Morningstar, but I ended up not really liking it. Okay, existential question. I started this book in 2022, and I finished it in 2023. And that is The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milos Kundera. And so I'm like, I read most of it. I feel like I read most of it in 2023, but I still read a good, like almost half of the book in 2022. So I'm just like, I don't know. Leave your thoughts below. What year did I read that book in? And then so same with this poetry book, which is the poetry book by Till Lindemann, Silent Nights, I believe it's called. And it's like, I started it officially like in October or something, but same, it's just one of those poetry books that you kind of flip through every now and then. Like, you don't really read, I don't know, at least I don't read through a poetry book just like in one sitting like you would read a book, like a novel, you know? So that, and then I started Poking Holes by Juan Valencia. And I really like it so far, okay? But A, I have it on my Kindle and it ran out of battery. And B, I kind of have also been procrastinating charging my Kindle because it's a bunch of short stories. And when I finished it, it was like between two short stories. So I'm not like stuck in the middle of a story, like waiting to see what happens, you know? So I don't know. Congratulations again to Juan Valencia. He is plagued by visions. By the way, check out his book. So for round one, we have January, February, and March. So my favorite book of January was officially This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno. My favorite book from February was Escape from Camp 14 by Blaine Harden. And my favorite book of March, by default, was Elizabeth. But honestly, it was really good. It could have been there, like, I could have pitted it against other books, it would have won. That being said, between those three, I'm gonna nominate This Thing Between Us to go to the next round because it was just like, these are solid books, okay? I liked it slightly more than Elizabeth, and to be honest, I think I enjoyed it even more because I feel like when you're doing something for a buddy read, you just like automatically enjoy it more because, I don't know, it's just something about it. And then honestly, Escape from Camp 14, it being a biography of a North Korean refugee, like, I swear these kinds of books, I have no idea how to rate them or how to like criticize them aside from maybe the writing style or like the fluidity of the writing itself. But how can you like criticize the story? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If anyone has any advice on how to do that, I would love to hear it, or insight or whatever. Let me know. Next up, we have April, May, and June. Like I said, these 3 months, I only read one book each. So we have the book, or The Room of Wonders, against Purge, against Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So honestly, A Room of Wonders, like I said, I love the whole thing, except the last chapter. Purge by Sophie Ogsonen was the bomb diggity. And Before the Coffee Gets Cold, like I said, that book is a real big warm hug of a book. I mean, it's like insightful, it's easy to read, it's relatable, I think pretty universally. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just a warm hug. That being said, between the three, I'm gonna go with Purge because it was amazing. And I have a book review on Purge. Check it out, I'll link it below as well. Okay, next up we have July against August against September. So my favorite book of July, I'm gonna go with The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, or it could have been Astrophysics for People in a Hurry, but to be honest, I love Hannibal Lecter, man. And then August, I'm gonna go with... That's a tough one because these are all trash. Probably gonna go with A Lifeless Throwaway because I've read a lot of books about eco-friendliness, but this one just sees the problem from a different perspective that I really like. And then September is The Songs of Maldor. No choice there because it was the only book I read. And between the three, I'm gonna hand it to The Silence of the Lambs because I've already said it a million times, I love Hannibal Lecter. And I love it when you've seen the book and read the movie and you can compare the two. Okay, and then October, November, and December. So my favorite book of October was Temps Glaciaire, or Glacial Nights. And then November, we only have Lurking in the Dark, and then December, we only have New Animal. And between those three, I'm going to give it to Glacial Nights, or Temps Glaciaire. So now that we went through round one, let's go to round two. Quarter one against quarter 2. So we have This Thing Between Us versus Purge. Okay, this is gonna break my heart because these are both, like, all 4 of these books are definitely amazing. See, I feel like This Thing Between Us is really good because it has a lot of different types of horror in it. It has a lot of different settings. I don't know, it was a fun read. Purge by Sophie Oxenden, I loved because it combines 2 of my favorite genres, which is historical fiction and horror. It takes place during 2 time periods. It takes place in different settings. Oh my gosh, it wins every award in the universe for it's not really a plot twist, but it's like when someone like just stabs you in the soul at the end, like on the last page of the book, you just realize something and you just like, yeah, okay, Purge gets it. Sorry, Mr. Morningstar, Purge was a better read. And then we have quarter 3 against quarter 4, which is Silence of the Lambs against The Insufferable Lightness of Being. Unbearable. Sorry, it's Unbearable Lightness of Being. I'm gonna give this one to the Silence of the Lambs because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love Hannibal Lecter. One of my favorite villains. And okay, now this one, wow. See, so now I'm having to choose between Purge and The Silence of the Lambs. And I don't know why I made this video. Those were the 2 best books I read this year, man. Yeah, I'm going to chicken out on my own challenge I set to myself. Yeah, so those were the 2 best books I read this year. And the worst book I read this year is going to go to Ways to Ruin a Royal Reputation. This book, okay, so it was part of Garbogust. I can't remember how I found this book. I think I was like, should I try romance or something? Because that is the one genre, not the one genre, but the main genre where I'm like, never. Boy, did this book confirm my suspicions. Never going down the romance genre again. Never. It's just like the most boring ass vanilla crap I've ever read in my life. Oh my gosh. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I can't even like, it's supposed to be this romance thing, okay? This king of wherever decides his sister should have been queen, and instead of abdicating, he's just like, no, I need this massive PR just something to happen so that I can like the crown be forfeited to my sister by default, because I don't know, so I can't even remember why. It was so stupid. So he hires this PR lady, they like fall madly in love on minute 5 of meeting, and then she goes on this 1-minute shopping spree to impress him or something, and then they go to Italy, and then they have sex twice, and then it's like love forever, and it's the whole scandal, but not really, and then they move back to England, and then everything, something rather. See how stupid it is? I don't know. It's just, if you like this book, I'm sorry I crapped all over it, even though I'm not really that sorry. It's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Back in the swing of things. Hopefully I'll be making more videos way more consistently and not taking 2-month-long breaks or so. Anyway, bye.